Okay, let's talk about money. But I want you to forget everything you think you know. Forget coins, forget paper bills. We're going to look at how money is shifting from just a static thing you hold in your hand to something totally different, a dynamic, programmable protocol. Yeah, that's right, an algorithm that can literally carry rules and intelligence around with it. So let's dive right in.
So to really get a grip on where money's headed, we've got to go back, way back. And I'll tell you right now, that story you learned in school about people trading shells or shiny rocks, well, it's not really the whole story. Turns out, money has a pretty big secret, and it's an ancient one.
So what if the entire history of money has nothing to do with physical objects at all? What if it's always been about something much more human? Relationships, trust, promises. This idea, it flips everything on its head. It suggests that money didn't start with a trade, but with a debt. A simple record of IOU, an IOU.
And this idea of money as just a ledger, a record, it goes back thousands of years. I mean, look at ancient Mesopotamia. They were tracking debts on clay tablets. And get this, when it was time for a big debt forgiveness, a jubilee, they'd literally ceremonially smash the tablets. How cool is that? Then you fast forward to medieval England, and you've got the government using these notched wooden sticks, tally sticks, as transferable IOUs. And today, it's exactly the same idea. It's just digital now. That number in your bank account, it's nothing more than the bank's IOU to you, just another entry on a giant digital ledger.
And don't think for a second these were some kind of primitive tools. The tally stick system was so successful, it was the backbone of English finance for centuries. It lasted all the way until 1826. But here's the best part. When they finally decided to get rid of this huge pile of old tally sticks in 1834, they thought, hey, let's just burn them in the furnace under the House of Lords. Bad idea. A really, really bad idea. They ended up burning down the entire Houses of Parliament. No joke. Talk about a dramatic end for an ancient form of money, right? So all of this, it points to one crucial idea, something the anthropologist David Graeber really nailed. He said that contrary to what we all think, money didn't come from barter. It came from credit and debt. It was never about the value of the coin itself. It was always about a social agreement, a record of who owes what to whom. It's always been about trust. Okay, so let's pause on that. If money has always been just information, just a record, what happens when you take that ancient idea and you fuse it with the power of modern computing? Well, that's when you get something truly revolutionary, the promise of programmable money. And the shift we're talking about here is it's huge. Think about the cash in your wallet. It's passive. It's kind of dumb, right? It has no idea who's holding it, where it is, or what it's being spent on. Programmable money is the exact opposite. It's an active protocol. It's smart. It has rules and logic baked right into its DNA, into the code itself.
So what is programmable money, really? The easiest way to think about it is like digital cash that comes with its own instruction manual built right in. These instructions, these spending conditions, are locked into its code using something called smart contracts. And the smart part is that they automatically enforce the rules. No need for a bank or anyone else in the middle.
Okay, let's make this concrete. Imagine a city wants to give out welfare vouchers. Instead of just handing out cash, they could issue a digital voucher that's programmed. It could be coded so that it can only be spent by the person who's actually eligible, only at specific approved stores, and only on certain things like groceries. All those rules are just baked right in. There's no way to misuse it because the smart contract itself just won't let the transaction go through if you break the rules. The code is the law, basically. Okay, but wait. For any of this to work, the money has to know things, right? It needs to know who's allowed to spend it. And that opens up a massive can of worms. How do you do that without creating some kind of surveillance nightmare? What you need is a key, a special key that can unlock all these cool features without you having to hand over your entire life story. And the answer to that puzzle is this really powerful concept called self-sovereign identity, or SSI. And it completely flips the current model of identity on its head. See, right now, companies and governments hold all your data. SSI says, nope, it gives you the power. You own and control your own digital data, right there in your own secure digital wallet. So here's how that works. It's called a triangle of trust. First, you have an issuer. Let's say it's your university. They issue you a digital credential that proves you're a student. You, the holder, store that credential safely in your digital wallet.
Now, when a verifier, like a movie theater offering a student discount, asks for proof, you don't show them your whole ID card. You just present that one specific credential. They can verify you're a student without ever learning your name, your age, or your major. You only share exactly what you need to and nothing more.
And this leads us to a really mind-bending idea. In this new world, you could almost say that digital identity is the new money. Think about it. If money is becoming a protocol, then your verifiable identity is the key. It's what lets you securely interact with that protocol and unlock all its most powerful features, but on your own terms.
So, what happens when you take these two world-changing ideas, programmable money on one side, self-sovereign identity on the other, and you finally smash them together? Well, what you get is the potential to remake our world with code.
One way to think about this is that this new kind of money can have different types of awareness. It can be identity aware, meaning it knows it can only be spent by certain people, like a student grant. It can be commodity aware, so it can only be used to buy specific things, like a voucher for carbon neutral products. You can even make it time aware, so it expires after a certain date, or location aware, so it only works in one specific town to boost the local economy. The possibilities are kind of wild.
And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi future. This stuff is happening right now. In Australia, they're already using programmable tokens for disability welfare payments, making sure the money goes exactly where it's intended. In green finance, you can have smart contracts that automatically release funds for an environmental project, but only after its goals have been proven to be met. And this tech could help us on a personal level too, like automating our savings, or on a societal level, helping cities encourage specific kinds of economic activity.
But, and this is a really big but, this is where we have to pump the brakes a little bit, because with this kind of incredible power comes a whole new world of risk. You can think of it as the algorithm's bargain, and it's a bargain where we absolutely have to read the fine print and understand both sides of the deal.
Which means we have to ask the most important question of all, right? With a tool this powerful, what could possibly go wrong?
So here's that bargain, laid out on the table. The promise? It's amazing. We're talking unheard of efficiency, total transparency, and way more financial inclusion. But the peril, the dark side, is just as real. We're talking about the potential for mass surveillance and microscopic control over what people can and can't do with their money. And hey, what about just plain old mistakes? When money is code, a simple typo, a single bug in the program could unleash what one expert called terrifying consequences on a massive scale.
And that brings us right to the heart of the problem, a huge technical and ethical dilemma. To make all this work, you have to verify sensitive personal data. So where do you put it? Do you store it on-chain, on a public, transparent ledger for everyone to see? That gives you maximum trust, but basically zero privacy. Or do you store it off-chain in some private database? That's great for privacy, but it might create new security holes. See the problem? There is no easy answer here. It's this fundamental battle between total privacy and absolute trust.
And that leaves us with one last massive question, a really essential one. As money stops being just a simple object and starts becoming a complex algorithm, the whole power dynamic shifts. The ultimate authority isn't the person who mints the coin anymore, it's the person who writes the code. So as we start building this future, we have to ask ourselves, who do we want, who do we trust to be the programmer?